So the good news is I am filming with the camera that I got completely soaked last week, the last time I was filming, and it wasn't working, and I stuck in rice for about a week, and that trick finally worked for me, and luckily on my $1,000 camera. So I'm very happy this camera is good to go because that was going to stunt some video making for a little bit. But besides that good news, we'll talk about these guys right here. I've been collecting these quarters for about a year from my tips at Jimmy John's, and today it's time to deposit them. The bank closes about 20 minutes, so I need to get down there. I'm guessing I have roughly around $300 in here. Really hope so. And then once I get these deposited, I'll tell you what I'm putting it towards. Alright, so I just got done depositing those quarters. I ended up getting out to $255, which is pretty crazy. That's the most coinage I've ever saved up. And for a while, I wasn't sure what I wanted to do with all those coins. I knew I wanted to make a fishing related purchase, but I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do. Swimbait fishing is an area that I am not really confident in. I've thrown some swim jigs around. I actually started, when I first got really serious into bass fishing, I was fishing with these little 3-inch swim baits. Actually, I might have one in a sec. So I actually still have the pack of them. I don't use them anymore, but it's these guys right here. These are little 3-inch, they're Cabela's Action Tail. I really don't like Cabela's products. Their jig heads and whatnot they're just kind of mediocre, but I will give these props where they are due. This is just like a little copper shad. This is a 3-inch. I was actually throwing a 2.5-inch on just a little crappy little jig head for a long time, and I would just throw this on a spinning rod and just slowly work it in. And throughout the summer, I got tons. I caught maybe 60 bass in about 2 months on these, from like 3 pounds to like 1 and smaller. They weren't huge fish, but it got me really hooked into bass fishing, and I really stepped away from Senkos and other stuff. I still use Senkos a lot because it's hard not to because they produce, but it just got me more serious into the sport. So I do have a special place for these in my heart. But on that note, just swim baits in general is not really my big confidence area, especially big swim baits, because I know nothing about that. I have not thrown a big swim bait ever. Maybe the biggest is like a 4-inch Kitech on the back of a swim jig. So I wanted to get out of my comfort zone and kind of do something different. And so that's where saving up these quarters came in. And I was talking to a buddy on Facebook who's getting rid of some stuff, and I ended up getting this. So this is my big purchase right here. This beautiful setup is a Daiwa Alexa 300 HD paired with a Akuma Guide Select swim bait rod. This is a 7-11 rod. It is, as you can see, a pretty freaking long stick. And it's a nice, big, heavy stick. Takes 1 to 6 ounce lures on here with a 15 to 30 pound line weight. So let me get the rod stock off it. I just picked this up from him not even an hour ago. And it's spooled up with 20 pound fluoro with some braid backing, and I am super excited. I am going from these nice little 3-inch swim baits to this big old 8-inch Huddleston. This thing is a beast. I am so excited to get into this fishing. It is beyond intimidating, I would say. I have no idea what I'm doing. It's going to be a lot of practice, something I'm not used to, a lot of work, a lot of patience. But if I can produce on one of these things, that's going to be a big fish, and I'm really excited to get one of these eaten by one of these guys. So, trading in this for this. I'm excited. And on top of that note, I was really bummed the other day. This camera got wet, and I did not think that it was going to come back alive. Sat on ice for about a week, and as you can tell, I'm filming and it is all good. So I did another impulse buy because who cares about money, right? So that's another thing that I had on my errand list, I guess. I went over to Best Buy and I made a little purchase. I decided to buy 2 new lenses. So right now I am filming on a 18 to 135 millimeter with an f-stop of 3.5 to 5.6. A lot of technical terms there, but this was the kit lens that came with this Canon T6S. It's a really good lens. I like it. I've used it for almost a year and it's been really nice. So I'm gonna move this here. So like I said, this is the 18 to 135 millimeter. Right now it's at its minimum focal length of 18 millimeters and 135 is its max, but I'm going to switch over to one of my new lenses, which I will do right now. So I'm going to switch over to one of my new lenses right now. All right, so this is my first new lens. I am not using these lenses yet, so my first look at the new lens is also your first look at my new lens, so I think that's pretty cool. It might not look any different right now because this is actually at its maximum focal length, which is the minimum focal length of my 18 to 135. So that's meaning that this is going to be a little wider angle. So that's the minimum focal length. This is my new 10 to 18 millimeter. It's a wide angle lens. It's a f-stop of 4.5 to 5.6. And I think this is pretty cool. This is actually going to be my vlogging lens because now I don't have to. So this is what my vlogging, if I held it right here, but now I don't have to hold my camera so far back. I don't like vlogging necessarily, but this is a little less up in my face, and it's also a little more comfortable. It's not as heavy. So that is a nice purchase. I really like this. It's a nice lens. It's really cool getting a new camera equipment piece. So that will be for not just vlogging, but like this, talking headshots. If I'm showing the camera something, it's a little wider angle, it'll pick up more. It's not going to be so close to me whenever I film. And the next lens I'm going to test is this one right here. So this is a little more zoomed in, but the lens is actually a lot smaller. And that's because this is my 50 millimeter prime lens. Here is the box right there. So that's how small that lens is compared to that one. This is my prime lens, which means it only goes to this focal length. So it's always going to be 50 millimeters. It's going to be a good like B-roll lens and up-close shots of just whatever subjects I want. And that thing likes to focus a lot. I can hear the autofocus. It's pretty loud. But anyway, it's got a lower f-stop number. It's 1.8. So the bokeh is going to be a lot better, which means it blurs the background out and keeps focus on the subject more. So this will be a really good B-roll lens, like I said, which I like to do. It's fun. Not that I like to copy John B or whatever, but B-roll looks nice and it's fun to do. So with that said, let's test this guy out for a little B-roll.